Hello everyone, and welcome back to 27 Fox Place. There's a few things I need to finish up, and then I have a busy day of cleaning ahead. I love the time change in the fall because I get back an extra hour of sleep and an extra hour of daylight in the morning, but when the spring time change comes around, everything gets thrown off track. I wake up late, and I find myself falling behind and struggling to stay on top of things. And I think most people look forward to having more daylight in the evenings, but losing the light in the morning makes it so much harder for me to wake up and get going. I always try to take care of the weekly cleaning tasks during the week so that I have less to do on the weekends, but that means I need 2 hours every morning to squeeze in a workout, shower, and tidy up the house. So if I'm not out of bed by 6 a.m., then I don't have enough time to get everything done. It always takes me about a week for me to adjust to the time change. So in the meantime, I try to keep up with the daily tasks like making the bed and keeping the house tidy, but there's not much time for anything else, so I fall behind on the weekly cleaning tasks, the laundry, and I end up skipping morning workouts. I have a lot to do most days, but there's quite a bit more that I need to get done today, and if I don't fold the laundry first thing, there's a good chance it won't get done at all. Having a laundry routine helps me to stay on top of the laundry, and it's much more manageable for me if I just fold one load of laundry a day.
I know it's nothing new, but it's so good to see you. We do this
I have a few of these shorter hoodies and sweatshirts that just don't like to stay folded when they're in the drawer. They're too bulky and stiff to fold more than one time, so I found that tucking the ends together helps, but it's a bit more time consuming, so I don't do it with everything. But this extra step helps to keep the drawers tidy, otherwise I'd be constantly refolding things every time I grab something out of the drawer.
being more than friends, yeah. You know I'm here to stay every single day, yeah. So hold me tight through the night. Just us two, me and you.
Microfiber is designed to trap dirt and particles, so washing them with other materials can reduce their effectiveness over time. The best solution is to wash them in a separate load to prevent lint transfer from other fabrics, but I don't have enough microfiber cloths to wash them separately, so I wash them in a mesh laundry bag. The mesh bag acts as a barrier which reduces friction and keeps the microfibers from getting caught on other items in the wash. I'll be sure to add a link for the bags that I like to use in the description box, but I also use the bags to wash delicate items like sweaters for the same reason. Plus, using a mesh bag can make it easier to find and remove clothes from the washer once the cycle is done.
Appalachian sunrise meets my skin. Even with my eyes still closed, I can feel it coming in. Golden, golden, I'll follow only golden, 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 golden things. Mountain laurel high five for miles in spring.
I'm not too far behind on the laundry. I skipped a few days at the beginning of the week, but it's not that big a deal. I just need to wash one load every day to get back on track. Laundry is always the last part of my morning routine. I always like to set up a load of laundry to wash the day before. That way, while I'm waiting for it to dry, I can clean up, squeeze in a workout, and get dressed for the day. So as one load comes out, another one goes in. Starting a load of laundry the day before always forces me to stay on track because I wake up knowing that I have a load of laundry waiting for me and there's no way I can put it off for another day. I always wash whites separately in hot water, and I add a little OxiClean to help remove stains and brighten the whites. And I also use vinegar in the rinse cycle to remove minerals and soap for the same reasons. Once the laundry is all set up, I program it to run the following day.
Up the river by my son. Feet step over splinters of the moon.
I wanted to start in our primary bathroom before moving on to the rest of the house because I wanted to make sure that it gets done today. If I save the bathroom for last, I know I'll be too tempted to put it off another day. I do try to avoid using harsh chemicals when I clean. I keep disinfectant wipes under the sink so that I can give the counters and sink a quick wipe down in the mornings, and I only use toilet bowl cleaner when I clean the toilet. But for the rest of the bathroom, I just use a microfiber cloth and rubbing alcohol to clean and disinfect the surfaces on a weekly basis.
Hey darling, can I tell you what's been on my mind? Sick and tired of the 9 to 5 in the city light. Hey darling, we could get out of town, see the beautiful world around, wanna see it now. Pack our bags and get in that car, leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out, we can leave this city, let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday, baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey, come on now and take my hand. Hey darling, I love it when it's me and you, on the road with a couple of tunes in a car for two. Hey darling, you know we're gonna have a really good time, driving in the middle of the night when the stars are bright. Pack our bags and get in that car, leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out, we can leave this city, let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday, baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count. Come on now and take my hand.
I try to wipe down the sinks and the outside of the toilet on a daily basis. I don't spend a lot of time on this. Once I'm dressed and ready for the day, I use a disinfectant wipe to quickly wipe down the sink and countertop, and then I'll use another wipe for the toilet. And then once a week, I clean the toilet bowl, the shower, and the floor. I keep a soap dispensing brush in the shower so that I can clean the shower while I'm in it. I just use regular dish soap to break down the soap scum, dirt, and grime. I can quickly clean the tub and shower in just a few minutes because everything I need is right there where I need it. When I first started this channel, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I thought I would just set up the camera and clean, and I would have a clean house, and if I got lucky, people would actually watch my videos. But as it turns out, it's not exactly that simple. It takes 2 to 3 times longer to clean when I record a video. Then I have to edit, and then I have to find an interesting way to talk about something that I've done 100 times before. And then of course there's everything else that has nothing to do with actually making a video. If I'd known how much time went into running a YouTube channel, I'm not sure I would have started a channel in the first place. It took some time to balance the things that I do at home with all the things that I do for work so that I have time to relax and spend time with friends and family. The balance can tip one way or the other like a teeter-totter from one week to the next, but it's definitely rewarding to hear all of the wonderful comments that you leave every week. Of course, my biggest goal is to motivate you, but your encouraging words are often my biggest motivator. There was a time I didn't think I would make it to 100 subscribers. I'm always so surprised how much this channel has grown, and I know I wouldn't be able to do this without your support. So I wanted to take a minute and thank you for taking this journey with me.
Saw you from across the room. When our eyes met, I never knew that I could feel this way, and it's kinda strange. Don't even know your name. I don't know you, but I want to get to know you. Just wanna get to know you. I don't know you, but I want to get to know you. Just wanna get to know you. You say that you're from out of town. I'm hoping that you stick around. Show me what it's like from the other side. Would you stay another night? 'Cause I don't know you, but I want to get to know you. Just wanna get to know you. I don't know you, but I want to get to know you. Just wanna get to know you. I think I've waited all these years for you right here. But how will I ever know if you go? 'Cause I don't know you, but I
Even if I dusted every day, the house would never pass the white glove test, but I don't have the time or the motivation to dust the entire house every day. If I dust the house once a week, then the dust doesn't have a chance to build up enough to become glaringly obvious. But dusting is more than just maintaining a clean appearance. A dusty environment can aggravate allergies and lead to respiratory issues, and regular dusting also protects the surfaces from wear and tear. There are just some tasks that are easier to do if I split them up room by room, but dusting is one of those easy tasks that I don't mind doing because it only takes about 10 minutes just to walk through the house and dust everything as I go.
I see it in your eyes. Yeah, I can read the signs. You need to get away. It's time we make a change. Oh, you know you'll always have me. Baby, I will always stay with you. So put your trust in me. We'll work it out, you'll see. If we get in a car and drive someplace far, yeah, we could go for a ride. The two of us, we don't have to stop. Baby, let's go for a ride. You and I, let us run away. We can go where we want. I'll have your just living off the edge. Only good times ahead. So let me put a smile upon your face. Baby, make your worries go away. So put your trust in me. We'll work it out, you'll see. If we get in a car and drive someplace far, yeah, we could go for a ride. You and I, let us run away. We can go where we want. I'll have your back if you have mine. You and I wanna leave everything behind. If you wanted to, promise you we will be alright. If it's you and I.
I don't do a lot of seasonal decorating, but I did put out some pine cones during the holidays. But now that it's officially spring, it's probably time for a change. Miss Callie turned 14 last week. She's still playful and she's doing well, but she gave us a huge scare last week. She had a seizure and collapsed on her birthday of all days. Her brother Ace started having seizures about 18 months ago, so I didn't panic right away. But the scary thing was how long it took for her to get up again. And we're grateful she's still with us and she's back to her old self. There's never a good time for these things, but with everything that happened, I almost didn't have a video for you guys last week. This video was supposed to go up last week, but I didn't get it finished in time. And thankfully, I was able to put together a few reruns at the last minute. And for now, everything is back to normal and both the dogs are doing well.
Goes round and round.
If you've been following my channel, then you know that I rely on routines to maintain a clean and tidy home. And I know this can sound much too rigid for some people, but it doesn't have to be. Although I do have a schedule for when I intend to do certain things, it doesn't always work out that way, which is why sticking to a routine is more important than sticking to a schedule. A schedule often includes specific times for each task or activity, so it's more about when things happen, while a routine is much more about the order or pattern in which they happen. Schedules can be interrupted, but routines are much more flexible. They are about the order or sequence of tasks rather than specific times. So I can vacuum on Thursday instead of Tuesday without the whole house falling apart, or I can fold the laundry in the evening instead of first thing in the morning and still keep on top of laundry. So that way I have a little more wiggle room to move things around to fit my schedule when I need to, instead of the other way around.
I was on a plane to California. I had all the time I'd ever need. Did you even know I was looking for you? I think that I was hiding in between. How long did you wait for me? How long did you really need to figure it out? I got in a cab when I first got here. Take me to the only place I know. Listen to the people that I found there. If you ever see her, let me know. How long did you wait for me? Oh yeah. How long did you really need to figure? Standing in the hall 7 hours, knew that I could make it if I ran. Then I saw you walking out the back door, hand in hand with another man. How long did you wait for me? Yeah. How long did you really need to figure it out?
Between us and the dogs, keeping the floors clean downstairs can be a huge challenge, but having a wet dry vac makes it easy to keep the floors clean, and it cuts my cleaning time in half because I don't have to vacuum before I mop. But my biggest time saver is the robot vac. We're constantly in and out of the house. The dogs are constantly in and out of the house, but the dogs are much better about bringing in the dirt from outside than they are taking it back outside again. And of course, it doesn't help that they shed. Regular grooming makes a big difference, but it only goes so far. So the only way that I can keep the floors clean is to run the robot vac every day. And I can program it to run automatically, but I can't do that anymore. Ace has somehow figured out how to turn on the robot vacuum, and I'm not sure how he figured this out or why he does it, but he will use his paw to push the button on top of the robot at random times throughout the day, which wouldn't be so bad if he didn't do it at 2 in the morning. So now I have to leave the robot vac off, and I have to remember to turn it on and run it manually.
Oh baby, I love your madness. It's so incredibly beautiful. Oh, you shine like gold, so selfless to all, and wild like an animal. Some would say I'm insane in the right in a way, but I just love to play in your fun and your games. Always hungry for more, that's just how I was born. Take me somewhere I don't know, and give me your freedom. Whoa, you love me to pieces, yeah, I need it.
Having a robot vac is a huge time saver, but it does require a little maintenance to keep it running smoothly and efficiently. Hair gets wrapped around the roller and dust can build up and clog the filters. So once a week, I take it apart and remove the hair from the roller and blow out all the dust from the filters. And then about once a month, I need to wash out all the filters with soap and water.
Yeah, I want it all. Could care less the cost. I give you my everything. Some would say I'm insane in the riding away. Always hungry for more. That's just how I was born. Take me somewhere I don't know. Give me your freedom. You love me to pieces, yeah, I need it. What's the pandemonium? Life is so easy. Whoa, you love me to pieces, yeah, I need it. Want your pandemonium? Give me your freedom. Whoa.
There's still a lot more that needs to be done around the house, but it's a good start, and hopefully now that I'm caught up, I can get back on track and stay on track. It's been so cold and rainy here this winter, and we finally got a nice sunny day, so I wanted to clean up the patio just a little bit. It's been raining so much we haven't had a chance to get outside at all, so I would have much rather spent the day outside instead of catching up on housework, but it needed to be done, and now I get to reward myself for a job well done by spending a little time outside in the sunshine. Cleaning up the patio helps to cut down on the amount of dirt that gets tracked inside the house, but it was just the perfect day to sit outside and have lunch.
I'm gonna let the sun shine in today. I'm trying to make this darkness go away. I'll paint with colors and I'll sing until my lungs give out. I'm gonna let the sun shine in today. And I will leave my windows open so that I can hear the sound of people talking and the wind blowing in the trees. Oh, I will open up my eyes so I can see the light. Oh, and I'll try to spread my wings so I can fly. Oh, and the darkness starts to fade. Feels like things are gonna go my way. I'm gonna let the sun shine in the day.
One of my favorite meals is Greek yogurt with fruit and granola, but grains and dairy cause too much inflammation, so I've had to find substitutes to satisfy those cravings. I made a batch of chia mousse this week, and I've shared this recipe with you before, but I'll try to leave a link for that video in the description box. I like to store a single serving of chia pudding in mason jars so that I can add the strawberries and granola to the jar so that I can take it with me to work, or I can dish it up and enjoy it at home. I've already washed the strawberries, so I'm just using an egg slicer to chop up the strawberries before I add them to the bowl.
Open up my eyes so I can see the light. Oh, and I'll try to spread my wings so I can fly. Oh, and the darkness starts to fade. Feels like things are gonna go my way. I'm gonna let the sun shine in the day.
And that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And of course, remember to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications before you go. And thank you so much for spending your time with me today, and I hope to see you next time.